Okay, I want to read a few scriptures. Let's start from 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1. 1 Timothy chapter number 2 verse 1. 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 1. Look at what it said. It said, I exhort therefore that first of all, supplications, prayers, intercessions, and giving of thanks, you see, be made for all men. See how he grouped them? He graded thanksgiving. He grouped it here and made it. He showed us that it is as important as intercession, as prayers, as supplications. It is not lesser in power. It is not lesser in benefits. And yet many believers don't practice it. A lot of us pray, we supplicate, we intercede. We don't thank God as well as we should do, as much as we should do. Let me read you one more scripture. Look at this in Philippians chapter 4. Philippians 4, the book of Philippians chapter 4 verse 6. He said, be careful for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplications with thanksgiving. You see, he separated them. If you look at the way he lined them up, it's showing us that thanksgiving is as potent as prayer, as supplications, as intercessions. It's as powerful. Many of us are established in prayers, established in intercessions. Many of us are not established in thanksgiving. Many of us, if we go for 1 week and not pray, we'll be worried. We say something is wrong. Or we can go for months and not do serious thanks, and not thank God, and not do serious thanksgiving, and not be worried. Some of us even go for years without doing any serious form of thanking God. We're not bothered. But you can't go for days. Once you don't pray for days, you get worried. You said it's an attack of the devil. But you don't bother that you could go for days, weeks, months without seriously thanking God. That's an error. I'm going to show you something. Look at this in Colossians. I want to show you in Colossians chapter 2. The book of Colossians chapter number 2. Colossians chapter 2 verse 7. Look at this. It said, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith, as you have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. Established in the faith, abounding therein with thanksgiving. In other words, if you're a thanksgiver, your faith can die. One of the ways to keep your faith alive and abounding is through thanking God. If you're not a thanksgiver, doubt will well up in your spirit and shut down your faith. Because thanksgiving is one of the highest demonstrations of faith. Look at Colossians chapter 4 verse 2. Before I begin to go into the heart of the message. Colossians chapter 4, look at this in verse 2. Colossians 4 2. It said, continue in prayer. Continue in prayer. And watch in the same with thanksgiving. Continue in prayer. And watch in the same with thanksgiving. Powerful. The best time to thank God, the moment you see him begin something, start thanksgiving. Once he begins a work in your life, start thanking. Start thanking him. Both privately and publicly, start thanking him. Both privately and what? Publicly, start thanking him. The sanctifying, the perfecting power of thanksgiving. Amen, somebody? So what I'm trying to say is that perfection is meant for those who come back to say thank you. You gained admission to school. If you are wise, you come and meet the pastor in charge of testimony and say, next week I want to have Thanksgiving service. He said, Look for anything you have. I know you're a student. If it's 2,000 you have, 1,000, 5,000, as God has prospered you, package it. Do what? Package it in an envelope. Look for something that can be useful in church. Buy it as your Thanksgiving offering. And come and say, sir, I want to thank God today. Book for Thanksgiving. They will give you extra time. All this rushing out here. Then I want to Thanksgiving time. You come on. The Lord delivered me. The Lord really blessed me. The Lord really blessed me. Thank you, Jesus. You can see that. That's not Thanksgiving. Whatever is worth doing at all is worth doing well. There are even unbelievers who don't know God. When they get a major breakthrough, they do what they call salaka. They go and gather beggars and people and cook for them. And some of them go to motherless babies' home and give gifts. It's their way of thanking, showing appreciation. They're even wiser than some Christians. You have a family 1 year. No member of your family went for surgery. All your kids lived healthy. God protected all of you. No accident, no disaster, no serious sickness. And then not even once in a year did you come to do serious Thanksgiving. Man of God, I don't know if you have read the book of Job. The Bible says Job constantly will count his children, and he will start giving God sacrifices for each one. Thanking God, saying, I don't know if they sinned against you. I'm grateful for these kids. In case they've sinned against you, please have mercy on them, and I'm thanking you with this sacrifice. The number of his kids, he will offer sacrifice one by one for them. And Satan couldn't touch them. Because when Satan met God, God said, have you seen my servant Job? He says, is he serving you for naught? He said, for years I've tried to touch him. You have built a hedge around him. I couldn't touch him. I couldn't touch his children. I couldn't touch his business because Job was addicted to Thanksgiving. He will carry sacrifice and offer on behalf of his kids one by one. Satan couldn't touch them. I'm talking to Satan testified that all these years I've tried to touch his kids. I couldn't because you built a hedge around them. Many of you have your kids. God is protecting them. You don't thank God. You have never given God anything on behalf of your kids. And it's also because of lack of understanding. Because there are people who think that givings in church are given to a pastor. I've seen people that when they feel they're angry with me, I offended them, they withdraw their giving to hurt me or to hurt the church. No! When you give, you're not helping me. When you give, you help yourself, you help your family. That's why it's not good to give with the intention to get Papa's attention. Because if you are giving to get my attention, anytime I do something you don't like, you will stop giving. To hurt me, to protest and to attack me or whatever. The perfecting power of Thanksgiving. The perfecting power of Thanksgiving. I want to share here. I want to talk about the last one. The multiplying power of Thanksgiving. The multiplying power of Thanksgiving. Look at this in John chapter 6. John chapter number 6. John chapter number 6, verse 5. Look at John 6:5. It said, when Jesus then lifted up his eyes and saw a great company come unto him, he said unto Philip, when shall we buy bread that these may eat? Look at verse 6. And this he said to prove him, for he himself knew what he would do. He said himself knew what he can do to turn not enough into more than enough. He said himself knew what he could do to turn lack into surplus. We want to find that thing that he knew he could do. And if we get to know that thing, we can start doing it. Because Ephesians 5:1 says we should imitate him. I told you that wisdom is behaving God. And faith is behaving God. Anytime you are behaving God, you are demonstrating the highest form of faith. And demonstrating the highest form of wisdom. Look at this in verse 7. Philip answered him, to 200 penny worth of bread is not sufficient for them, that every one of them may take a little. Verse 8. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said unto him, there is a lad here which had 5 belly loaves and 2 small fishes. But what are they among so many? Verse 10. And Jesus said, make the men sit down. Now there was much grass in the place, so the men sat down in number about 5,000. All of you look at verse 11. That's where I'm coming. And Jesus took the loaves, and when he has what? And when he has given thanks, he distributed to the disciples, and the disciples to them that were set down. And likewise of the fishes, as much as they would. Verse 12. And when they were filled, he said unto his disciples, gather up the fragments that remain, that nothing be wasted. 5 loaves of bread and 2 fishes. What did Jesus do for them to multiply? The Bible says he lifted it and did what? He gave thanks. The moment he applied the force of thanksgiving, the power of multiplication came upon the object of thanksgiving. Anything you can thank God for can increase. It can multiply. If God starts something small with you, you have something small. If you can start thanking God and discipline yourself to keep on thanking God for that thing, it will multiply. The multiplying grace of God will come upon it. Thanksgiving triggers the power of multiplication. Thanksgiving triggers the grace of multiplication. Thanksgiving is a multiplier, is a multiplying force. And by implication, anything you don't thank God for, you will experience stagnation in it. Reduction, stagnation. So your little capital, instead of cursing it, because let me tell you, anytime you open your mouth about anything, this is my phone. Anytime I open my mouth about this phone, if it is not testimony, I'm testifying about it to God, I'm cursing the phone. Anything you are not thanking God for, you are cursing that thing. You are either thanking God for something or you are cursing that thing. Let me give you a piece of advice. All of you who are, like now, let me use Pastor P as an example. Pastor P works in an office. If he goes there, it's God that took him to that office. The main reason God sent him to that office may not even be the salary he's getting. The main reason God sent him there is that God probably has ordained that in his 12th year or 13th year in that office, a contact that will fulfill his destiny will walk in and he will meet that contact. And if he's not in that office, he will miss that contact and suffer and die. But he opened that contact and sent him there. He's there now. He has only been there 2 years. But God's plan is that in his 13th year in that office, the contact that will fulfill his destiny will come into the office and they will meet. Now that he's there on the year 2, they may not be paying him well. His boss will not be perfect. His boss will have mistakes and errors. If he, by any mistake, he start criticizing that boss, he's cursing that boss. If by any mistake he start criticizing that company, he start bad-mouthing the company, bad-mouthing his boss, complaining about the ill-treatment he's getting, is cursing that company. The blessing God has ordained to come to him through that company, he will miss it. Because you cannot be blessed by anything you curse. I know I'm talking from my office. You cannot be blessed by anything you curse. You cannot be blessed in any place you curse. No source you curse will be a source of blessing. No channel you curse will be a source of blessing to you as a person. What will happen? He may still be there till 13th year, but he will never meet that man. Even if that person comes, there will be no clicking. Because he has disqualified himself from being blessed because he's cursing that place. But if he's there, any small salary, they are maltreating him. And instead, the Bible says, bless them that curse you. Do good to them that despitefully use you and persecute you. And he separates himself from other staff members who are always bad-mouthing the oga. He said, please, I'm a Christian. I don't want to be involved in this thing. And instead, he prays for his oga. Never bad-mouthing him. He may still be getting the small salary. But watch it. One day, that man that God took him there to meet will walk in. He will meet that man. His story will change. An encounter with that man of one day will cancel 20 years of sorrow and shoot him ahead 40 years ahead. That's the blessing God sent him there to get, not the salary. But he can be distracted and blinded by the salary and be complaining, they're not paying me well. But the reason God sent him there is not the pay. The reason God sent him there is the blessing called a contact that will fulfill his destiny. Hey, are you hearing what I'm saying to you now? Are you hearing what I'm saying to you now? Huh? Oh God of heaven. The Bible says, curse not the king. He said the best of the air will carry the matter. He will hear. If in that office now he curses his boss, bad mouthing his boss, his other will come and say, good morning, sir. He goes and clean the table. Man is a spirit. Anytime he's within the presence of that man, even though he has not heard, he doesn't know what he's doing, the man will feel uncomfortable around him. He will go home and tell his wife, I don't know, but my secretary in the office, I don't feel happy anytime he's around. When I see him, I feel bad. I don't know what's wrong. Something is not adding up. He may not be able to put a finger. But do you know even dog? How many of you know a dog? I come from a village. In those days, in my place, I know that Christopher also eat dogs. Let me say it. He used to eat dog. Many of you here eat dog. We used to eat dog. I don't eat now. But we used to eat dog. That's when I know that human beings are wicked. Dogs that when you are coming home, he will come and welcome you like a family member. Human beings will take knife like this, put in the neck and kill it. But we used to do it in those days. But watch. I noticed that these dogs that used to, when we're coming home, he will run. This dog will come and climb us, will hug. Anytime in the night, my dad says, you people did well in school. You took first. You took first in your class. Took first in your class. Tomorrow you people will keep bingo for you people to celebrate your. Tomorrow we'll keep bingo so they will celebrate your result. And then we'll be happy. Hey, we're going to eat dog. That morning, that same dog that used to come greet you every morning, as you open it, it's already wagging tail coming. That morning, suddenly that dog will wake up and avoid you. You try to come close. He senses you have evil thought. Your secret plan, it wasn't there. He didn't hear. But something inside it tells him, this is an enemy. Man of God, it happens to me several times. There are people I've fought to build intimacy with. It hasn't worked. I've learned now not to too much push. When I press for relationships and when there's no opening, I leave it. That place where you walk, no matter the errors there, search for the good points. Focus attention on the good things of your boss. The good things going on in that office. The fact that every month they give you a certain amount. The fact that every month your family is sustained from what they give you. Ignore the weaknesses of your boss. Ignore the shortcomings in the place. God who brought you there has a plan. It's not their plan you had that experience. There's a plan of God for you in that office. Don't shut it down by murmuring and bad mouthing. What I'm teaching you here is a mystery. Carry this anywhere you go. You will save your future. You belong to a church. You badmouth the church. You badmouth the set man there. And you are still hoping that your blessing will come from there. It doesn't work like that. It's not possible. You cannot be blessed by what you curse. You call it criticism. In the spirit realm is a curse you release. Anybody you are criticizing, you are releasing negatives, you are cursing the person. The same way you are not perfect. The man you are criticizing is not perfect. But nobody is 100% garbage. Focus on people's strength. The boss you are attacking has strength. He has weaknesses. He has assets. He has liabilities. If you yield to the devil, he will amplify his liabilities. Focus your attention on it. And as you busy brab and complain about it, you will generate negative energy and fill your life with darkness there. And you will abort the divine pregnancy that place is carrying for you. What I'm telling you now, has aborted many destinies. Are you hear what I'm saying to you? There are kingmakers. Leaders are kingmakers. Your making in your office is in the hand of your boss. Even if it's wicked towards you, the principle is bless them that curse you. The principle is do good to them that hate you and despitefully use you. You don't become evil because your boss is evil. You practice Christianity. You honor him. And then you open a window for the God of compensation to come in there and dish you. That's what Joseph did. When Potiphar's wife lied against Joseph, Joseph didn't defend himself. Joseph knew if he opened his mouth and told Potiphar the truth, he would sack his wife. But he told himself, I would rather go to prison than destroy this woman's marriage. Joseph didn't tell his boss. If Joseph told his boss, the boss would believe. But Joseph told himself, even though she did me evil, I won't pay her back with evil. Let me go to prison. Let her stay with her marriage. The Bible says, overcome evil with good. He went to prison, the woman stayed married. If Joseph opened his mouth to report to his boss, that woman would have lost her marriage. But Joseph would not have become a prime minister. He landed in that prison, even while he was in prison. He was the one encouraging everybody. He came to meet this one. Why are you here? I dreamt a dream. Dream. Interpreted the dream. I said, please, when you get to before Pharaoh, please remember me. The man forgot him. He stayed. But the hand of the living God came, located him from the prison. He was in that prison. He met the one who introduced him to Pharaoh. If he was in the prison, badmouthing the boss of the prison leader, criticizing and cursing the prison, he would have died in the prison. What I'm sharing with you is advanced revelation. It's not for babes. Those who run hard to think he's manipulating them. He's manipulating them. That's how you know Satan's children. People with Satan's nature. When the truth that is to set them free come, they reject it. They think it's manipulation. They call revelation manipulation. No. The multiplying power of thanksgiving. Never curse what you want to be blessed by. Never. Don't do it. Don't curse your business and think business. Ask people, how's your business? Nothing is happening. This business, in fact, we're just in this thing just to manage for now. The real thing, we're just looking for what to do. You curse that business. He can't bless you. God can't use it to lift you. But God can lift you from every. Don't curse your. How is business? We're just managing. We're patching it. You know, the way this country is going, this business used to boom now is no. This is no more business. It used to 2 years ago. This was a business, but no more. You are cursing that business. It won't be a channel of blessing anymore. Always look for the positive side of everything. How many of you know that in this life, the Bible says, he that seeketh shall what? He says, seek and you shall what? What you see is what you look for. If you look for fault, you will find it. If you look for good qualities in the person, you will find. You can't, okay, how can you have a successful relationship now? If you focus on the faults of a friend, of a partner, of a spouse. Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. You who is magnifying somebody's fault, are you perfect? So this is intended to save our heads. Because some of you now have lost opportunities because you went where God saved you, when God sent you to make you, and you went and started running your mouth carelessly. And then you have bought God's plan for sending you there. Lift your hand up. Open your mouth and thank him. I can't finish this message. I just introduced it. Go ahead and thank him. Give him praise. Bless his name. Worship him. Don't let this condemn. Let it convict. Let it correct, not condemn. Lift your voice and thank him. Give him praise for the word you had. Ask him to establish you in this truth. Tell him, I don't want to be a hearer only. I don't want to be a hearer. I don't want to be a hearer only. Establish me in this truth. Help me to live a life of gratitude. Give me a grateful heart. A heart that is genuinely grateful to God. A heart that is genuinely grateful to my benefactors. Open your mouth and tell him. Give me a heart that is not forgetful. Help me never to curse what I'm hoping will bless me.